The Silent Deception. The Galactic Hegemony Observation Vessel Eternal Vigilance drifted silently at the edge of the Sol system, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it invisible to what its crew believed were Earth's primitive detection systems. Captain Vorthak, a veteran of countless first contact missions, stood with his four arms clasped behind his back, staring at the holographic display of the blue-green planet that rotated slowly before him. "Another scan cycle complete, Captain," reported Science Officer Lethmar, her translucent tentacles manipulating the control interface. Results consistent with previous findings. Primitive satellite network, rudimentary space stations, no evidence of faster-than-light technology or gravity manipulation. Classification remains at Development Stage 3, pre-FTL civilization. Vorthak's upper eye ridge twitched with mild disappointment. The hegemony had monitored Earth for centuries, expecting the resourceful species to eventually achieve significant technological breakthroughs. Instead, human development had plateaued in the early 22nd century, with only incremental advances thereafter. "Curious," he remarked, his voice a rumbling bass that reverberated through the command deck. Their quantum physics theories suggested greater potential. Perhaps their conflicts have stunted their growth. They remain divided by nation-states, Lethmar added. Although a central governing body exists, it lacks unified authority. They expend resources on internal politics rather than technological advancement. First Officer Krasnar approached, his exoskeleton clicking softly against the polished deck. "High Command has authorized first contact protocols, Captain. The Council believes Earth's resources are too valuable to leave unmined any longer. Their development appears to have stagnated, making this an optimal time to establish hegemony presence." Vorthak nodded, his amber eyes reflecting the blue light of Earth's hologram. "Prepare the diplomatic contingent. Standard procedure. Offer technological advancement in exchange for resource rights. Classification permits limited technology transfers, nothing beyond Development Stage 4. We don't want to upset the natural order." As the Eternal Vigilance prepared its diplomatic mission, none of its crew detected the quantum fluctuations surrounding their vessel. Microscopic nanoprobes, invisible to even the most advanced hegemony scanners, recorded every word, every plan, and every communication, transmitting the data via untraceable quantum entanglement to receivers deep beneath Earth's surface. 3 kilometers under the Atacama Desert, in a facility known only as Sanctuary Alpha, Director Elena Savarkar removed her neural interface headset and addressed the assembled Earth Defense Council. "The hegemony has authorized first contact," she announced, her voice echoing in the vast underground chamber where representatives from Earth's unified defense forces gathered. "As we anticipated, they believe we're a primitive civilization ripe for exploitation." Admiral Jackson Chen, Supreme Commander of Earth's Hidden Fleet, frowned at the holographic representation of the alien vessel. 2 centuries of careful preparation. 2 centuries of appearing weak and divided while building our strength, and still they come a decade before our final preparations are complete. "Operation Silent Thunder remains viable," Savarkar replied. "The hegemony underestimates us, exactly as we planned. They perceive our carefully crafted facade, a divided planet of bickering nation-states with rudimentary technology, while remaining blind to our true capabilities." Dr. Imani Okoro, Chief of Technological Development, manipulated a holographic display showing Earth's hidden defensive grid. "Quantum shielding is at 87% capacity. Gravitational displacement engines are operational in 64% of our vessels. The temporal disruption network requires another 3 years for full deployment. We're stronger than they know, but not yet at full strength." "And our intelligence?" General Maria Gonzalez asked, her weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of tactical displays. "Comprehensive," Savarkar answered. "For the past 80 years, our quantum entanglement network has monitored every major hegemony world, military installation, and governmental facility. We know their strengths, their weaknesses, their technologies, and most importantly, their intentions." She gestured, and a holographic display shifted to show thousands of worlds across the galaxy, each marked with the hegemony symbol. 57 civilizations, all absorbed through the same methodology. First contact, technological exchange, resource extraction, then gradual assimilation or, if resistance is encountered, military subjugation. And now they turn their eyes to Earth, Admiral Chen said grimly. Precisely as we planned, Savarkar reminded him. After the Roswell crash in 1947 gave us our first glimpse of advanced technology, humanity made a choice. Rather than announce our discovery to the world and advance openly, we chose secrecy. The Global Security Directive of 1954 established our path, appear primitive while advancing in shadow. The chamber fell silent as the implications settled over the assembled leaders. For over 2 centuries, Earth had maintained its elaborate deception, appearing to alien observers as a planet of squabbling nations with limited technological development. Meanwhile, secret facilities buried deep beneath every continent had reverse-engineered the alien technology, making breakthroughs that had propelled human understanding centuries beyond what was displayed publicly. We maintain the deception, Savarkar decided. Accept their diplomatic overtures. Appear suitably impressed by their advanced technology. Allow them to believe they're dealing with a naive species eager for the stars. And if they demand resource rights, ask Dr. Okoro. We negotiate, delay, feign internal political disagreements, Savarkar replied. We need time to complete our preparations. Every day we maintain this charade brings us closer to technological parity. The hegemony diplomatic vessel Benevolent Discourse entered Earth orbit 7 days later with ceremonial flourish, its ornate hull gleaming in the sunlight. Ambassador Kralvex of the Hegemony High Council prepared to address the United Earth Assembly, unaware that every word he spoke was being analyzed, translated, and assessed by quantum computers far more advanced than anything the hegemony possessed. People of Earth, he began, his translator converting his complex harmonic language into smooth English. We come in peace and friendship, representatives of the Galactic hegemony, a union of prosperous civilizations spanning this sector of the galaxy. United Earth President Sophie Mbeki, secretly connected to the Defense Council through a neural implant disguised as a ceremonial earring, responded with carefully rehearsed humility and awe. Humanity is honored by your presence, Ambassador. We have long looked to the stars with wonder, hoping we were not alone in the cosmos. For the next several days, carefully choreographed exchanges of diplomatic pleasantries continued. The hegemony offered technological advancement, protection, and a path to eventual membership in their galactic community. In return, they requested only reasonable access to Earth's resources and permission to establish cultural exchange centers on the planet. What the hegemony representatives didn't know was that Earth's Defense Council could hear their private communications, including Ambassador Kralvex's reports to the High Council. The humans are proceeding exactly as anticipated. They're awed by our technology and eager for our guidance. Phase 1 integration can begin within 1 planetary cycle. The resource extraction plan has been approved by their Provisional Council, and they've agreed to the establishment of our first 3 military outposts, though they believe them to be cultural centers. 5 days into the diplomatic summit, the hegemony representatives toured what they believed was Earth's most advanced research facility, a carefully constructed facade concealing technology centuries behind humanity's actual capabilities. Impressive progress for such a young species, Ambassador Kralvex commented, examining a nuclear fusion reactor that Earth had actually mastered over a century ago. With our guidance, you could achieve gravitic manipulation within mere decades. Dr. Leila Patel, Earth's leading quantum physicist and secretly the inventor of the temporal disruption field that formed the cornerstone of humanity's defense strategy, smiled with feigned gratitude. Your generosity overwhelms us, Ambassador. The knowledge you offer would advance our understanding by generations. As the aliens examined Earth's deliberately primitive quantum computers, none noticed the microscopic probes mapping every detail of their technology, biology, and the encrypted communications constantly transmitting to their ship. That evening, as Earth's leaders wined and dined their extraterrestrial guests at a carefully selected historical venue, Director Savarkar met with her core team in the secure facility beneath the Atacama Desert. The Hegemony has deployed a battle group to the edge of the Oort cloud. Admiral Chen reported grimly. 47 warships, including 3 planet crackers. They're maintaining position outside our solar system, but their weapon systems are in standby mode. Standard Hegemony procedure, Dr. Okoro confirmed. Diplomatic pressure backed by military threat. If we don't agree to their terms within the next 2 weeks, that fleet moves in. Savarkar studied the tactical display, her face illuminated by the holographic representation of the Hegemony fleet. Have they detected any of our defenses? Negative, Admiral Chen replied. Our quantum camouflage remains effective. They're blind to our orbital platforms, lunar bases, and the Titan shipyards. Options? Savarkar asked quietly. We could reveal enough of our true capabilities to make them reconsider, suggested General Gonzalez. A controlled demonstration of force. Too risky, countered Dr. Okoro. Their psychological profile indicates they would respond with overwhelming force rather than risk a potential competitor. Savarkar made her decision. We continue the deception, accept their preliminary terms while insisting on a longer negotiation period. We need more time to complete our preparations. She turned to Admiral Chen. Accelerate Operation Silent Thunder. If they're going to force our hand, we'll need every weapon in our arsenal. What no one in that room could anticipate was how quickly the Hegemony's patience would wear thin, or how drastically Earth's carefully laid plans would need to change when the facade of humanity's weakness could no longer be maintained. The calculated response. The diplomatic dance continued for 2 more weeks, with Earth's representatives feigning appropriate awe at Hegemony technology, while secretly analyzing every scrap of data they could gather. But beneath the surface of polite negotiations, tensions were mounting. In the Sanctuary Alpha Command Center, Director Savarkar stared at the tactical display with growing concern. They're getting impatient, she observed as Admiral Chen joined her. Their fleet has moved within Mars orbit, Chen confirmed. 47 vessels now, including their dreadnought Inevitable Dominance. Our deep space sensors have detected quantum communications, suggesting they're preparing for a show of force. The diplomatic team reports increased pressure, Dr. Okoro added, joining them at the display. Ambassador Krolvex has shortened the resource rights negotiation timeline from years to weeks. He's making thinly veiled references to the Hegemony's protective capabilities and how they've assisted other civilizations that faced internal disagreements. Savarkar's expression hardened. They're accelerating their timetable. Typical Hegemony tactics. They sense resistance and respond with intimidation. She turned to the tactical display. Status of Silent Thunder. The lunar defense grid is at 94% capacity. Admiral Chen reported. Orbital platforms are fully operational but still in stealth configuration. The Titan fleet stands at 217 vessels, all with gravitational manipulation drives at combat readiness. And the temporal disruption field. Dr. Okoro hesitated. 83% coverage of Earth's atmosphere. We need another month for full deployment. We may not have a month, Savarkar replied grimly. Her prediction proved accurate. The next morning, as diplomatic discussions continued in Geneva, the Hegemony made its move. 3 warships broke formation and took position over Earth's major population centers, New York, Shanghai, and Lagos. Their weapons systems powered up in what the Hegemony considered a standard display of protective capabilities. In Geneva, Ambassador Krolvex's tone shifted from friendly guidance to firm instruction. The Hegemony High Council has expressed concern about Earth's internal divisions delaying our agreement, he announced to the United Earth Assembly. To facilitate a more efficient transition, we've deployed protective vessels to ensure regional stability. President Mbeki, following the Defense Council's instructions through her neural implant, responded with carefully calibrated alarm. Ambassador, while we appreciate the hegemony's concern, the presence of warships over our cities may cause unnecessary panic among our population. Krulvex's upper eye ridge twitched in what his species considered a dismissive gesture. A temporary measure, I assure you. Once the resource extraction agreements are finalized, our protective presence will be reconfigured to more appropriate locations. Left unsayed was the implication. Sign now, or face consequences. In Sanctuary Alpha, Director Savarkar made the call they had all been anticipating for 2 centuries. Initiate Operation Silent Thunder, Phase 1. Maintain stealth protocols, but bring all systems to combat readiness. Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses awakened. In the caves of Luna, massive gravitic cannons powered up. In Earth orbit, hundreds of stealth platforms prepared their quantum disruption fields. Beneath the ice of Titan, the doors of vast underground hangars slid open as Earth's secret fleet prepared for deployment. Ambassador Krulvex, oblivious to the storm gathering around him, continued his pressure tactics in Geneva. The hegemony has prepared a comprehensive integration plan for Earth, he announced, displaying a holographic map showing hegemony outposts, military bases thinly disguised as cultural centers, distributed across the planet. Within 5 years, we can elevate your technological capacity to development stage 4, allowing limited interplanetary travel within your solar system. What the hegemony representatives couldn't know was that humanity had achieved interstellar travel capabilities decades ago, with prototype vessels already deployed to nearby star systems. As Krulvex outlined the generous terms of Earth's resource surrender, an aide approached him with urgent news. The hegemony's deep space monitoring stations had detected anomalous energy readings from Luna. Dismissing it as a sensor malfunction, Krulvex continued his presentation. Minutes later, more reports arrived. Unusual gravitational fluctuations near Titan. Quantum disturbances in Earth orbit. For the first time, doubt crept into the ambassador's mind. In Sanctuary Alpha, Director Savarkar addressed the Defense Council. The hegemony is beginning to detect our preparations. We've lost the element of complete surprise, but they remain unaware of our full capabilities. Their dreadnought has altered course, Admiral Chen reported. It's moving to a higher orbit, standard defensive posture. They're confused, not alarmed. Yet. Savarkar nodded. Implement Phase 2. Let's show them just enough to make them reconsider their approach, but not enough to reveal our full hand. In Geneva, President Mbeki interrupted Ambassador Krulvex's presentation. Before we proceed further, Ambassador, there are some aspects of Earth's capabilities that we should clarify. Krulvex's expression shifted to one of irritation. We have conducted thorough scans of your technological development, Madam President. The hegemony's assessment is comprehensive and accurate. Mbeki smiled, a hint of steel beneath her diplomatic demeanor. Is it, Ambassador? Perhaps you would join me outside for a moment. Confused but unwilling to show weakness, Krulvex and his delegation followed the human representatives into the courtyard of the United Nations complex. Mbeki pointed to the clear blue sky. Ambassador, you believe Earth to be a development stage 3 civilization, correct? Primitive satellites, rudimentary space stations, no FTL capability. Our assessment is based on extensive observation, Krulvex replied stiffly. Then perhaps you could explain those, Mbeki said, gesturing upward. The hegemony delegation looked up as the air above Geneva shimmered, and suddenly the sky was filled with hundreds of spacecraft that had been there all along, hidden behind quantum stealth fields. Sleek, advanced vessels of human design hung in perfect formation, their gravitational engines allowing them to hover silently with no visible means of propulsion. Krulvex stumbled backward, his translator momentarily failing as he reverted to his native language in shock. When he regained his composure, he demanded, "What deception is this? The hegemony has monitored Earth for centuries." "And we have monitored the hegemony," Mbeki replied calmly. Since your scout ship crashed in Roswell in 1947, humanity has chosen a path of hidden advancement. While presenting an image of divided nations with limited technology, we have prepared for this moment. As if to emphasize her point, a massive holographic display appeared over Geneva, showing the hegemony fleet near Mars and the much larger human fleet emerging from Titan, surrounding the alien vessels in a perfect containment formation. Impossible, breathed Kralvex, his cultural training failing him as the implications became clear. Your species cannot have advanced so quickly. Our models, our predictions, were based on what we allowed you to see. Mbiki finished for him. Now, Ambassador, shall we return to our negotiations? I believe the terms may need reconsideration in light of this new information. In orbit, the hegemony dreadnought Inevitable Dominance detected the human fleet too late. Captain Zorlin ordered immediate battle stations, but before his crew could respond, their ship was surrounded by a gravitational bubble that neutralized their weapons systems without damaging the vessel itself. Admiral Chen's voice came through on all hegemony communication channels. Attention hegemony vessels. This is Admiral Jackson Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet. Your ships are contained. Your weapons are neutralized. No harm will come to you if you take no hostile action. Earth is not the primitive world you believed it to be. We propose a reassessment of our relationship. In Sanctuary Alpha, Director Savarkar watched the unfolding events with a mixture of satisfaction and tension. Centuries of preparation had led to this moment, but the real test was still to come. The hegemony was not known for accepting challenges to its authority. They're sending quantum transmissions to their nearest battle fleet, reported Dr. Okoro, monitoring the communications grid. Standard hegemony emergency protocols. How long until reinforcements could arrive? Savarkar asked. Based on our intelligence on their FTL capabilities, no less than 14 days, Admiral Chen answered. Savarkar nodded grimly. Then we have 14 days to convince them that attacking Earth would be the worst mistake in their long history. She turned to her team. Prepare for Phase 3. It's time to show the galaxy what happens when humanity speaks. The Galactic Reckoning. The 14 days that followed became known in hegemony records as the Revelation of Soul. What began as a routine integration of a seemingly primitive world transformed into a fundamental reshaping of galactic politics. In orbit around Earth, Ambassador Kralvex found himself aboard the human flagship Defiance, his diplomatic status maintained, but his position drastically altered. No longer was he offering technological advancement to a grateful species. Now he was the student, struggling to comprehend how humanity had achieved such advances in secret. Impossible, he repeated, examining the quantum entanglement communication system that allowed instantaneous transmission across interstellar distances, technology the hegemony had been researching for centuries without success. Your species was fragmented, divided. Our observations confirmed limited technological development. Admiral Chen, serving as his host, smiled thinly. What you observed was what we wanted you to see. After the Roswell incident gave us our first glimpse of advanced technology, Earth's nations made a secret pact. While maintaining the appearance of division and technological limitation, we united behind closed doors to prepare for eventual contact. But the resources required, Kralvex protested. The coordination across your entire planet. Necessity is a powerful motivator, Chen replied. When faced with the prospect of becoming just another subjugated world in the hegemony's collection, humanity found its unity. Meanwhile, across the Sol system, the hegemony fleet remained contained within gravitational bubbles that neutralized their weapons while maintaining life support. Their attempts to communicate with the nearest hegemony battle fleet had not gone unnoticed. In Sanctuary Alpha, Director Savarkar addressed the Defense Council with renewed urgency. The hegemony reinforcements are en route -207 vessels, including 5 dreadnoughts. Estimated arrival in 10 days. They still underestimate us, General Gonzalez observed. That's barely twice the size of the fleet we've already neutralized. Let's not become overconfident, Savarkar cautioned. The hegemony has conquered 57 worlds. They're not accustomed to resistance, but they know how to respond to it. The temporal disruption field is at 92% capacity, Dr. Okoro reported. We can extend coverage to Mars orbit within 3 days. Additionally, the quantum resonance weapons are fully operational. Savarkar nodded. Deploy the Jupiter defense grid. Position the Titan fleet in standard containment formation, and activate the Proxima listening post. I want to know every communication, every strategy the hegemony is considering. As Earth prepared for the coming confrontation, Ambassador Kralvex found himself in an unprecedented position, reporting his failure to the Hegemony High Council and conveying humanity's unexpected message. The humans propose an alliance, he explained during the quantum conference with his superiors, unaware that every word was being monitored by Earth's intelligence network. Not subjugation, not integration, but a partnership of equals. High Counselor Drexmore's holographic image flickered with rage. Absurd. No newly discovered species dictates terms to the hegemony. Their deception alone warrants punitive action. With respect, Counselor, Kralvex replied carefully. They have neutralized our advance fleet without destroying a single vessel or taking a single life. Their technology in some areas appears to exceed our own. The human leadership suggests that conflict would be costly for both sides. Intimidation tactics, dismissed another counselor. The battle fleet will arrive in 9 days. Then we will see how confident these humans remain when faced with the full might of the hegemony. What the Hegemony Council didn't know was that Earth had already dispatched its own vessels to intercept the incoming fleet, using quantum jump technology reverse-engineered and improved from the Roswell craft. Earth's advanced strike team arrived at the Hegemony fleet's position 3 days before they would reach the Sol system. Admiral Layla Rahman, commanding the intercept mission aboard the Silent Thunder, opened communications with the Hegemony flagship. Attention Hegemony vessels. This is Admiral Rahman of the Earth Defense Force. Your advance fleet has been contained without bloodshed. We offer you the same opportunity to avoid unnecessary conflict. The Hegemony Fleet Commander, Thral Khan, responded with the arrogance of a species unaccustomed to challenge. Primitive deception. No development stage 3 civilization possesses interstellar capabilities. Return to your world and prepare for integration, or face annihilation. Rahman sighed. As you wish, Commander. She closed the channel and gave the order. Activate the temporal disruption field. In an instant, the space around the Hegemony battle fleet shimmered as the laws of physics themselves seemed to bend. Time within the field slowed to a crawl, not enough to harm the Hegemony crews, but enough to render their vessels effectively immobile, suspended in a moment stretched across hours. Field stable at 99.7% efficiency, reported her tactical officer. The Hegemony fleet is contained. They're experiencing time at approximately 1/1000th our rate. Rahman nodded. Position quantum markers around the field. Prepare for return jump to Earth. The Hegemony has some difficult decisions to make. When news of the intercepted battle fleet reached the Hegemony High Council, the impossible reality of their situation began to dawn. A civilization they had classified as primitive had not only concealed its true advancement for centuries, but had developed technologies the Hegemony had yet to master. In a historic emergency session, the Hegemony Council faced an unprecedented crisis. High Counselor Drexmore, his authority challenged for the first time in 3 centuries, addressed his peers with grim reality. The humans have neutralized 2 fleets without destruction. They possess technological capabilities we cannot counter, and our intelligence now indicates they have been monitoring our communications, our military installations, and even this council chamber for decades. Impossible, protested one counselor. No species could advance so rapidly, and yet the evidence stands before us. Drexmore replied. We face a choice: acknowledge this new reality, or engage in a conflict with uncertain outcomes. For a species accustomed to unquestioned dominance, it was a bitter realization. After 3 days of intense debate, the Hegemony Council reached its decision. Ambassador Kralvex, once the confident representative of galactic power, now found himself delivering his civilization's response to humanity's terms. In the United Nations Assembly Hall, before representatives of Earth's nations, and broadcast to billions across the planet, Kralvex formally acknowledged the new relationship between Earth and the hegemony. The galactic hegemony recognizes the sovereign status of Earth and the Sol system, he stated, his translator conveying the reluctance in his harmonic tones. We propose a treaty of mutual non-aggression and open diplomatic relations between our civilizations as equals. President Mbeki, representing a united humanity that no longer needed to hide its strength, accepted the terms with dignity rather than triumph. Earth welcomes this new beginning. We have much to learn from one another, and the galaxy is vast enough for both our civilizations to prosper without conflict. The treaty signing that followed marked not just peace between Earth and the hegemony, but a fundamental shift in galactic politics. For the first time in millennia, the hegemony faced a power it could neither conquer nor control. In Sanctuary Alpha, Director Savarkar watched the ceremony with complex emotions. 2 centuries of preparation, she murmured to Admiral Chen, who stood beside her. 2 centuries of hiding our potential, presenting a facade of weakness while building our strength in shadow. And now, Chen asked, the galaxy knows we are here. The deception is over. Savarkar's gaze drifted to the tactical display, showing the positions of Earth's vessels throughout the solar system and beyond. Now we build openly. We explore. We establish our place among the stars. A slight smile crossed her face. And we remain vigilant. The hegemony is just one of many galactic powers, and they all know now that Earth is not to be underestimated. As news of the treaty spread across the galaxy, other civilizations took note. Some with hope, those who had lived under hegemony influence, now saw the possibility of a new protector, a new ally. Others with concern, those whose power had gone unchallenged now faced a newcomer with unexpected capabilities. But throughout the cosmos, one message resonated clearly. After centuries of silence, Earth had finally spoken. And when Earth spoke, the galaxy trembled. On the observation deck of the Defiance, Admiral Chen gazed at the stars with President Mbeki by his side. Was it worth it? He asked quietly. 200 years of hiding our true nature, of advancing in secret while presenting a face of division and limitation to the watching stars. Mbeki smiled, looking out at the vast expanse that was now open to humanity's exploration. Look at what we've achieved. United purpose, advanced